Hi, welcome to write2top.com. I'm Adam. In today's video lesson, what we're going to look at is vocabulary. More specifically, we're going to look at lexical range, which basically means vocabulary variety, because it's very important that you use as many different words in your writing as possible. Why? You want to make your writing more interesting. You want to make it more sophisticated, right? You want your reader to not get bored by seeing the same words over and over again, okay? Now, it's very important, especially if you're going to take any of these English tests like IELTS, TOEFL, CAE, etc., because they're going to be checking your range of vocabulary. They want to make sure that you have different words. They want to make sure that you're not using the same words over and over again. Now, today specifically, we're going to look at alternatives to the verb do. Now you're thinking, why do I need alternatives? Do is a very good verb. I can use it for many things. That's right, you can. But keep in mind, do, take, give, make, and have are the most commonly used verbs in English. So you want to try to use different verbs if you have that option, okay? Now let's look at the example you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about when you see these two sentences. Number one. Scientists usually do experiments on animals before they do these experiments on humans. Now, grammatically, the sentence is correct. It makes sense. It's all good. The message is delivered. Is it a good sentence? No. Why? Because you have the verb do twice. And you have the noun experiments as an object to the verb do also twice. So in one sentence, you have two words used twice each. Now, I always tell people when they're preparing for these tests, or anybody who's writing, if you can avoid having the same word more than once in a paragraph, then avoid it. But in one sentence to have the same word twice, absolutely no reason for that. You have many different options. And if you don't show that you know other words, then you're telling the graders, again, we're talking about the tests, you're telling them that you don't have many options. Right? You're telling them that your vocabulary is very limited, your score is going down. Look at the second sentence. Promotions aren't given to those who simply do their job. They're given to those who do the job better. Again, do twice, I have job twice. These are not good sentences. They're correct. The message is delivered. In terms of quality writing, these are bad sentences. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at options. I'm going to give you 6 alternatives to the verb do. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind also about all these alternatives is we also need to think about collocations. Now, what are collocations? These are word groupings, okay? Certain words are grouped with certain other words on a regular basis. They're like a natural connection, right? They're almost like married. These is a boyfriend and girlfriend, and they just work very well together because they're used commonly and they make sense. And they add a touch of nuance. Nuance means like a slightly different meaning than the word by itself if you look at it by itself. All of these words essentially mean do, but they have slightly different nuances and they're used specifically with specific words. So let's look at these first. Conduct. To conduct. What does this mean? To plan out, organize, and then direct or manage the action. So when you conduct something, you're not simply doing, you're not just simply involved in the action. You're taking a plan, you're organizing, you make sure you know exactly what you want to do, and then you do it specifically according to that plan, right? You make sure that everything is done correctly and well, okay? So you conduct. Complete or finish. Again, you can do your homework or you can complete your homework. What's the difference? What's the nuance difference? When you complete it means you've sat down, you've done it all the way through and you've brought it to a finish, to bring an action to an end. It means it's complete, it's ready to go, it's ready to hand in to the teacher. If you simply do it, means like, well, okay, I have to do it, so fine, here, I'll do it. If you complete something, means you've done it to the end, you've put your effort into it, and it's finished probably well. Execute. To do an action as planned or ordered. So now you have to think, okay, let's say you have a boss. Your boss comes to you and says, okay, I want you to do A, B, and C. So now you take A, B, and C, and you take this command, this order, and you execute it. You put A, B, and C into action. Think about military. Your commanding officer tells you, do this. Okay, so instead of just doing it, you execute his order or her order, as the case may be. Perform. To do something in a prescribed way, or to act in a prescribed way. What does it mean? What does prescribed mean? Sorry, it means the way it was meant to be done. Okay, so usually this is something you're trained for. So you're not just simply doing it, you're doing it exactly the way it's meant to be done and the way you were trained to do it. Okay, we're going to look at all of these individually in a moment. Carry out. Carry out is a phrasal verb. So somebody gives you a plan, so to do until the end, to bring to a conclusion. Sorry, that's the meaning of carry out. Somebody gives you a plan, or you have your own plan, and then you take the plan and you carry it out. You bring it out into reality, into action. You make it a real thing. You take it from the plan, carry it into reality. Last, we have commit. To commit means to put your full intention into something. Usually we use this verb with negative actions. Okay, you put your full mind to it, you have intention, and then you do it, and again, usually something negative. Okay, so now we're going to look at each of these words individually. I'm going to show you some collocations, some other words that they are used with, and then we're going to look at a sample sentence. Eventually we're going to go back to our original two sentences and see how they can be better. Okay, we're going to start with conduct. You conduct an experiment. Now, scientists, they have a plan. They have an idea of what should happen when you combine A with B. You should get C, but until you actually conduct an experiment, until you do a test to see if this works, you don't know. Now, one thing to keep in mind, experiment can also be a verb. You can experiment on something or on someone, or you can experiment to find a conclusion to a hypothesis, whatever. But if you want to use experiment as a noun, then you use conduct. You could say do an experiment, but it's not very common. More common is conduct an experiment. Conduct an investigation. So the police don't just do an investigation, they conduct it. They do it very planned. They have very straightforward and very set ways to do it, and they conduct it. And again, you can investigate or you can conduct an investigation. Okay? Conduct an audit. What is an audit? So think about your tax department of your government. They think that maybe you're cheating a little bit on your taxes. Maybe you didn't pay enough taxes. So they conduct an audit. It means they come to your office. They want to see all your paperwork, all your receipts, all your payments, all your invoices, everything they want to see. And then they're going to check everything to make sure that you gave them enough money, enough taxes. Okay? So an audit, a check of financial things usually. It doesn't have to be financial. That's the most common one. Conduct business. So you can do business or you can conduct business. In this case, conduct is just a little bit more formal than do. You go overseas, you meet clients, you conduct business, you make trades, you arrange contracts, you make agreements. All of these things are part of conducting business. You can conduct an interview. When somebody comes to speak to you, or maybe you're hiring somebody for your company, you don't just ask questions, you conduct an interview. It's very organized. You have your questions set. They probably have their answers set. It goes back and forth until you decide yes, no, maybe so. Conduct one's affairs, okay? Affairs, things you have to do. You have to pay your bills, you have to pay your staff, you have to whatever. These are all your affairs. You conduct your affairs. You do them in an organized way. Here's a sample sentence, okay? Being a successful lawyer is not just about knowing the law. It's also about knowing how to conduct a thorough investigation, okay? So a lawyer doesn't just take his books and go to the courts and say, okay, well, according to the book, it's like this. No. The lawyer must conduct an investigation, a thorough, means a complete, a very deep investigation to get all the facts, all the details. Then he or she can go to court and present it to the judge. Okay? Let's go to the next word. Complete or finish. So as I said, it's do, but do to an end. Bring to a complete finish of something. You can complete a task. You can complete your homework, complete a mission. So you're in the army, your commanding officer says, okay, this is what you have to do. You have to go there and you have to blow up that building for whatever example. Okay, so you go there, you blow it up, you say back, yes, I completed the mission. I didn't just go and put a bomb, half the building is gone, that's okay. Because you still did it. But you completed it, means you did exactly the project or the mission that was meant to be done. It's complete, we can move on. And again, you can complete the project at your office. There will be no leaves until we complete the mission. Leaves means like vacation. Again, we're talking about military words here, but no leaves, no vacations until we complete the mission, until we complete the project. Okay. Execute. So again, you get an order, you take that order and you put it into action. You can execute an order, you can execute a command. You can execute justice. Okay, so police, a police officer's job is not just to give speeding tickets. A police officer's job is to make sure that you don't speed again. He or she will speak to you, they'll give you a big ticket, like a big fine. Maybe you'll have to go to court and talk to a judge and say what's going on. So they're taking the justice and they're putting it into action, okay? It doesn't have to be about police, it doesn't have to be about law. It could be about moral right and wrong. If somebody did something bad to you, maybe you think, okay, I'm gonna have to execute justice. I'm gonna have to make sure this person is punished properly. You have a plan, you execute the plan. You put the plan into action. Execute a maneuver. What does this mean? A maneuver is basically a movement. So if you think about an airplane, I'm a pilot. There's the runway in front of me, but I'm a little bit off. So I need to make a movement. I need to maneuver in order to get to the runway. So I call air traffic control and I say, what do I do? And they say, okay, turn 50 degrees east. So I say, okay, and I execute the maneuver 50 degrees and then I'm lined up, come in for a landing. Again, the task goes with a lot of these. A lot of these words I'm giving to you, a lot of these verbs can be used with task. Execute a task, execute your work. If something is done well or is well done, it can also be well executed. Okay? The company was fined $1 million after they had failed to execute the court's orders. So the court, after a trial or whatever, after a legal situation, the court or the judge said, okay, this is what you have to do. So the company, they didn't execute this command. So they were fined $1 million, which is a pretty big deal, I guess. Or not for them, I don't know. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Perform. So again, remember, perform, you're doing something exactly the way it's meant to be done, the way you were trained to do it, most likely. You can perform your duties. So everybody has duties. Duties are things that you have to do. You can perform them. You can do your duty or you can perform your duty. I mean, it has the nuance here is that it's slightly better. It's done in a better way, maybe more professional, with more effort, more passion, whatever. Again, you can perform a task. Now, perform an operation or perform surgery. Think about yourself. You need to go get a surgery. You need to go see a doctor to fix something inside, okay? Do you want the doctor to do surgery on you? Like open you up, maybe play around a little bit and close you up. Okay, go home. No, you want the doctor to perform the surgery. You want him to go in carefully, fix everything exactly the way it's supposed to be, make sure everything's perfect, close you up perfectly. You want him to use his best training to do it so you can come out of this good, basically. Again, you can perform your work. You were trained to do it, so do it well. And again, you can perform well. A surgeon must be very meticulous when he performs an operation. Meticulous is very careful and worrying about all the details, etc. Okay? Carry out, again, phrasal verb. So you can carry out your duties, just like you can perform your duties. You can carry out a task. You can carry out the orders, the plans. All of these things means you take the initial plan or the order or the task and you carry it to reality, to action. Now, you can carry out repairs. You can also make repairs. So you have a broken fridge, you can make repairs to it, or you can carry out repairs on it. Make sure it's on it. Make repairs to, carry out repairs on. A technician was called in to carry out the necessary repairs on the equipment. Basically to do, fix. To fix, carry out repairs. Same idea. Okay. Commit. So again, remember, commit, full intention. Again, usually something bad. So many people, I've seen many people write do a crime or do murder. You don't do murder and you don't do a crime. You commit a crime. You commit murder, okay? You commit fraud. Fraud is when you, like, basically you're stealing, but you're doing it very quietly. You're doing it on paper. Nobody really knows it's done until all the money's gone. You're sitting on a beach, sipping a Mai Tai, laughing at everybody back home. But eventually they're going to catch you and maybe you'll go to jail. Commit suicide. Suicide means kill yourself, okay? Side, or side in Latin, but side is a good root word to learn. It means to kill. Suicide, to kill yourself. Homicide, to kill another person. Genocide, to kill a whole peoples, etc. So side is a root word. Learn all the different mixtures you can make, all the different additions to make different words. Commit an injustice. So when you commit an injustice, basically you're either breaking the law or you're just doing something bad, morally, ethically bad, and against someone else, and it's an injustice, and you committed an injustice. Commit adultery. If you're a married person and you sleep with someone else, then you are committing adultery. Okay. The police, who had been tipped off about Jeff's plan to commit murder, arrested him on his way to carrying that plan out. Notice carry out, I can split up. I could have said to carrying out that plan. Both okay, split together, all good. Commit, carry out, okay? Okay, so let's go back to our original sentences. You remember these? Scientists usually do on animals before they do these experiments on humans. Let me show you a much better sentence that says the exact same thing. Scientists usually experiment on animals before they conduct these experiments on humans. So now, what did I do? First of all, you notice no do at all. I don't use the verb do at all. I took experiment once as a verb and I used it the second time as a noun. So even though I'm using the same word, I'm using it in different forms, in different functions. One's a verb, one's a noun. So right away, I'm showing that I have range. I know that it could be a noun and a verb. And I'm using conduct instead of do, right? So I have a very strong sentence because I don't repeat anything, even experiment and experiments, verb, noun. Now, if I really wanted to change things around, I could say scientists usually experiment on animals before they conduct these tests on humans. That way, you have complete variety. You don't have experiment twice. You don't have do at all. You have conduct. You still have to use experiment as a verb because otherwise you have to use conduct or do again, which is the whole point here. We don't want to do that. Let's look at our second sentence. Promotions aren't given to those who simply do their job. They're given to those who do the job better. Promotions aren't given to those who simply execute their tasks. So notice I took execute instead of do, tasks instead of job. They're given to those who perform above and beyond expectations. So now again, I didn't use job at all. Job is a cheap word. Everybody knows the word job. Try not to use it. Tasks, once, above and beyond expectations. What are your expectations? Well, your job. Your job is something you're expected to do. So you're going above and beyond. You're going much further than your job requires. Perform instead of do, right? So I have execute, I have perform, I have a much stronger sentence, shows a little bit more variety. Okay, so there you go. You have lots of options. You have lots and lots and lots and lots of words in English that you can use. Learn synonyms. Don't settle for one word. Always, whenever you learn a new word, learn at least one synonym to that word. So now you've learned two words, at least. And also don't forget to learn the different parts of speech. Learn the noun, learn the verb, learn the adjective form. That way your vocabulary will expand that much quicker. Okay? Now, I hope you like this lesson. I'm hoping that it helped you a little bit. If you liked it, please like it on YouTube and please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions about this lesson, you can put it down here below in the comment section, or you can go to my website, righttotop.com. There's a forum there, a public forum where you can ask questions. You can talk to each other. You know, I can answer some of these questions about this video there as well. And of course, come back. I'll have lots of these videos about writing. I hope to help you become better writers. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.